Alright, so right after that video where I showed you the parts that came from that LEGO Life Master Build kit, I basically immediately sat down and just started building a bunch of things like I said I would. And that was actually quite a lot of fun. And I didn't stop until I was satisfied with how few pieces that I had left over. Now, obviously, there are still enough pieces here to make some things, but not enough to make things that I believe I would be at all happy with for this little project, this little challenge. And given how many pieces I started with, I'm actually very satisfied with how few that I've left behind at this time. So, like I said, I made a bunch of things, and I'm just going to take these to the studio so you can see them more closely and carefully. Wait, carefully? How do you see things carefully? I guess you can look carefully. Anyway, here's the stuff that I came up with, and there's actually a theme here. You may see what the theme is already. It's toys. I thought, I have so many different colored parts, lots of little pieces, why not make a bunch of toys in small scale? So what I originally wanted to do here was make toys and then create a toy store in which those toys would be displayed. And the store itself wouldn't be a full structure. It would just be kind of a wall that would be behind these, and maybe with some shelves sticking out that some of these toys could be placed on. However, once I started building that wall, I quickly realized that I didn't have enough pieces even for that, just for the sizes of things that I built here. What I actually started out with, the very first thing that I built was the castle, just because I had that one kind of arched door piece, and I really wanted to use that and kind of go from there. It's supposed to be a really large castle play set, and it's got a drawbridge at the front that can be raised and lowered. You have to be a little bit careful with it. But after I did this one, it's kind of like his and hers, right? So I've got the boys version of a castle, and I've got the girls version of the castle. I think the girls version looks way better, has a little bit of the green terrain around it with some foliage. These kind of wings on the sides I think are good, because I personally have trouble doing things just for the look, things that are just decorative flourishes. I've always had trouble with that. I always try to think of some sort of function for any form element, but these have no function but to look interesting and different. And I got a lot of colors in here and everything, and it ends up being bigger, so the boys can be jealous that the girls get something, you know, more grand for a change. Just how that worked out. And then after that, I moved on to some of the smaller things. I think the next thing I did, was just this little locomotive, which you can only see from one side, but just a little different way of building that. I actually really like how this frog turned out. It started out much larger, and I was like, what does it even look like? And rebuilt a number of times and shrunk it down, and it's obviously a frog now with a small number of pieces. I'm pretty happy with that. This is just an astromech droid over here, you know, straight up Star Wars ripoff, just made with kind of blocky pieces, but it has generally the right shape. Here's another Star Wars related thing, a Last Jedi AT-M6 First Order heavy walker, right? I think that's pretty appropriate. You can kind of rotate its head back and forth. That can go up and down. The legs move and such. This is a little tea time set. So just a couple of chairs, a table, and then a couple of cups, and a teapot is what that's supposed to be there. This is supposed to be a Lego Boost system that's built up with the standard build with a tracked robot. I made this truck here to, well, you could say that it's to carry the toys around, but it's really supposed to be in the same scale as everything else that's shown here. So this would be something that a kid would be able to get in, and then it would either be pedal powered or just foot powered, you know, where you just put your feet down, kind of Flintstones style. But originally I made that as a car, and it was smaller, and I hated it, so I took it apart completely and redid it from scratch. Has some interesting parts usage in there for how few pieces there were. This helicopter I think turned out okay for its size. I think the use of the axles there for the skids was important. I got a small car with a minimal number of pieces. This ended up looking almost like an inverted SpongeBob, but it's just supposed to be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of character that would be turned into a Furby-like thing in this universe. This is a big robot, which also has some articulation. I think it could actually be put into a walking pose, maybe. Let's see. I actually haven't tried this before. Maybe I can use more than one hand. I'm not sure if that's actually going to work out. It's a little bit tough to get it to balance. Oh, I know. There we go. Yes. So, sorry. It's actually able to kind of look like it's moving about a little bit. This is some sort of mascot for something. I don't know what it's supposed to represent, but has a face. And yeah, I did this just very quickly. And it's got a little bit of articulation as well, so it can be made to look a little bit expressive. And he's got the funky hair there that's off to one side. And then after I did all these little things, I came back and did the large thing after failing to make what I wanted originally, a toy store kind of background for this. I made what ended up being a house that is in universe, supposed to be a residential converted late 1950s small town post office. That's a lot to kind of take in, but that's the story that I built behind this. So it still has a very prominent mailbox out front, just kind of as a nod to its own heritage. A little bit of foliage in the front, a little bit of stonework for the walkway, some overhangs for the windows, and this is all just old, decorative stuff. I was really limited on parts at this point, but I think it turned out okay, at least looking from the front. And then around the back, it's open for play. It's left open for the sake of access, so that you can get in there and play with it. That's the official story. Of course, the unofficial story is that I just didn't have enough parts to put in a back wall. But, come on, you can just kind of play with that a little bit. It has a ceiling fan up here. This is like a little kitchen area, supposedly. A couple of chairs and a table. There's an entryway, rug, bed, some sort of lamp back there. We've got a set of drawers there, another set of drawers over here, a couple of products on top. And the thing that I'm happy with most here is the fact that the door can actually open, because I was completely out of hinge pieces by this point. I think I had like one hinge piece that could still be used, but I still made this able to open. I thought I did. Yeah, it goes this way. It's just a little bit stuck there. There we go. Yes, needs another tile there, but yeah, it's able to open and close without the use of any hinge pieces, because I just used a stud piece. So there's your hinge up there, one stud piece there, and there's a stud piece down underneath. I just have these studs sticking up just to keep it from going in too far. And it uses the toe ball piece there to create a little doorknob. I'm actually very happy with that. I don't like the interior part of it, but the fact that it works, I think, is a good thing that actually fits there. But otherwise, it's okay, given the limitation of parts and all, but I think that overall I'm not satisfied with what I've done here. As a matter of fact, I can say for certain that overall I'm not satisfied with what I've done here. This was fun as a first stab at this project and coming up with something, but it really did what it was supposed to do. I wanted to get in there and just start working, get into the creative mode, and have some fun with the pieces, become a little bit more familiar with the pieces that were actually available to me. And that's exactly what I did, rather than sitting back and trying to plan for days. I just sat down one sitting, got all this done, and now I know what I want to actually build, or attempt to build from these parts that won't use this many parts at all. But at least, rather than being all of these little things and then one attempt at a larger thing, I'll have more of a central theme that ties things together a little bit better, and I'll have something a little bit more interesting, I think, in the end. Just maybe a more creative use of this body of parts. So wish me luck with the next the next attempt at this, I'm going to take all of these things apart. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to try to do something that I'll be a little bit more happy with as a result of this challenge, rather than, you know, doing what I can in very small amounts. Once again, I'll be leaving the comments closed on this video for the same reasons that I cited before. It's important to me that I do this myself, that I follow the challenge as it was given to me, and I'm just gonna do that. I'm just going to just have fun with the pieces, and hopefully my mind will serve me okay and not terribly. So I will let you know once I've got another round of this done, and I'll show you the end results. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.